Hi, Soda Creek fourth graders. My name's Katie Konold, and I'm the education coordinator at the Tread of Pioneers Museum. In a minute, I am going to do a moving day program for you. Usually I come to your classroom and do it, and I would bring with me a ton of artifacts that you would break into groups and look at. You would read through facts and you would come up with a presentation. The artifacts are going to tell you about 6 different groups of people that moved through Colorado over the last 2,000 years. The video will be a little different since you can't see, touch, or smell some of the artifacts. And so instead, your teacher has sent you a sheet that you should have printed out in front of you with a pencil or pen, and you will be answering three or four main questions about each group of people. So make sure you have that. Make sure you have a quiet space in your house to watch the video in. Feel free to pause the video so you can look at each artifact. Or go back if you need more information. The information is also online, and your teacher will send you the link to all of that as well. We miss you guys at the museum. When the Tread of Pioneers Museum is back open, please come visit us. Ask to smell a certain special artifact. I will leave it up at the front desk for you. And in the meantime, have your parents like the Tread of Pioneers Museum on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are posting about a video a week of fun Pioneer games and activities to do. So thank you for watching. Enjoy, and don't forget you can pause the video and rewind at any time to get all the information you need. Okay, so we'll start out with our moving day program. This program is talking about 6 groups of people that moved through Colorado. We have this beautiful map here. Over the period of a couple thousand years. So we are going to focus on when each group came, how long they stayed, when they left, if they left, where did they go if they left, and are they still here? And you have each question written on your worksheet for each group. So for each group, you're going to answer those 4 questions. So this program was made by History Colorado. It's an amazing museum in Denver. If you're ever in Denver, you should definitely go visit it. They have an amazing facility with tons of hands-on information just for kids to learn about the history of our great state. So History Colorado put this program together, and I am teaching it to you, and I need my notes to do that. So we're going to start with this huge map of Colorado. And just like when we have any map, we need to first make sure we understand the features. So the first feature that I want you to look for on the map is the compass rose. And my daughter, Charlie Rose, is here today, and she is pointing with our fancy pointer sword, the compass rose. And Charlie, could you just tell us which way is north, south, east, and west?
North.
So this part of Colorado is north.
East.
Mm-hmm.
South.
Mm-hmm.
West.
Very good. Thank you, Charlie Rose. Okay. So, and if you look at the map then and the compass rose, you will be able to see the regions of Colorado. So we've got northern Colorado here, and then the eastern plains, which is a plain is a land feature, means it's flat. There's not a lot of mountains or hills. So we have northern Colorado, we have the eastern plains, and over here we have the western part of Colorado, the western slope and plateau, which is over here, Grand Junction area. And then we have southern Colorado, lots of mountains, and then the Four Corners area over here, and that of course is talking about where 4 corners of the states touch: New Mexico, Colorado, or Arizona, and Utah. The next feature, oh, and one more thing about our regions is, it's a really important part of Colorado is the Continental Divide. And that is kind of like an invisible line that runs through our state and our continent, and it divides where the rivers flow. Literally, it divides where the rivers flow, which ocean they flow into. And so this is not geographically super accurate, but the Continental Divide basically and cameraman, if this is wrong, tell me. It kind of runs up and juts, kind of Leadville-ish area, and then it actually comes up close to us. Here's Steamboat Springs, and it comes up, I think, right around here, and then of course it keeps going. And so all the rivers that flow go this way, west, and then on the other side of the Continental Divide, they flow east all the way to the ocean. The next feature on the map are going to be the Rocky Mountains. Do you want to show us the Rocky Mountains, Charlie Rose?
If I can find them, yes.
Well, there's just all these little mountain symbols, and there's basically most of this half of our state is all mountains. We have some symbols and some topographical pictures to show us that on this particular map. The Rocky Mountains of Colorado are home to 4 major mountain river valleys, 3 of which are called parks. And so they all have names. There's North Park, which is drained by the North Platte River, which I think is right here. I could be wrong. It might be over here. There's Middle Park, drained by the Colorado River, South Park in the headwaters of the South Platte River, and then the San Luis Valley down in the south holds the headwaters for the Rio Grande, and that's the last park. And you can see most of the parks are distinguished by the green blobs. The next feature on this map are the cities and towns, and they are marked, can you show us, Charlie Rose? By black dots. So you're gonna notice a lot of familiar names: Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Trinidad, and then we're just too small to have our own dot on this map, so I made Steamboat Springs up here in the northwest corner. There are 5 major rivers. Can you show us the rivers, Charlie? So the Gunnison River, the Colorado River, the Rio Grande, the South Platte, and then this one's the Arkansas. I just was too slow to say it. And then there's these brown dots over here. Can you point those out to us, Charlie Rose? Those are trails. Who would have used these trails? The trails were here before roads. So it was anyone that was coming into the state, and as you can tell by the trails, they were coming from the east. It was when they were settling the country, and our country settled east to west. And so people came in on these major trails because mainly they followed water. They went through towns that were spread out so they could supply their wagons with the essentials like food. And of course they followed the rivers so they could have access to water. And the last feature that we want to point out are the railroad tracks. Can you point out the railroad tracks?
Great.
Yeah, gray. And as you might be able to see on your computer screen, the tracks go through these major cities, and there's 2 junctions here, and there's more railroad tracks than probably this map shows. But they go through major cities because that's where people would unload the trains and take the products to the stores to sell, or the food to people. Okay, so we are going to start in on our research of the 6 groups that have moved through Colorado. I have 2 helpers with me, my dog Rosie and my son Micah. Rosie is smelling all the different, we've got some animal things that she is very interested in. So the way you're going to learn about each group that moved through Colorado are through artifacts. And there are 3 artifacts that represent each group of people. An artifact is an object made by people, and they are a resource of knowledge and education for us, and we call that a primary resource. It means that that artifact can tell us exactly what people made and used. And some of these are real, and some of them are copies. So you actually have artifacts in your house, just like I have artifacts in my house, because, like I said, an artifact is an object made by people, and because it's a primary resource, it tells us something It's very specific about that person. They made it and how they used it. So pictures are artifacts. My children are artifacts. The artwork on my fridge over there are artifacts. Your home is full of them as well. Our museum, the Tread of Pioneers Museum, is also full of them. Those artifacts are older, but they don't have to be. So today, usually I divide students into groups and you get to study the artifacts. There's clues that go with each artifact and you have to match them. And there's fact sheets that you should have read in one of your pre-lesson activities that you did. But because I'm not with you, I'm going to show you, and my kids will help me, each artifact, and we'll read through the clues together and match them together. So I'm just going to tell you the 6 groups really quick. Right here in the southeast corner of Colorado, we will learn about the Cheyenne and Arapaho. Make yourself at home, Rosie. Micah, could you stand up and help us show the rest? Over here, more in the northern, and it kind of stretches further than just right here, but like the northern, more mountainous region are the Mountain Men. More in the central mountains, but they also spurred north and south as well, we have the Miners. In the southern San Luis Valley down here, we have the Hispanos. Thanks, Micah. In the Four Corners area, in the southwestern corner of Colorado, we have the ancestral Puebloans. And then up in the northern part of Colorado, the northwestern part, which is where we live, we have the Ute Native Americans. So we'll get started with our first group, the ancestral Puebloans.
That ends the introduction into our Moving Day program. Now go ahead and go to the next YouTube video, which is Moving Day Part 2.